As the longest-serving governor in Texas history prepares to leave office, Rick Perry reflects on his legacy, lessons learned, and what's next.
Do you want me to make some news today?
Democrats prepare to meet a new session with a familiar determination.
We're starting to see some movement our direction.
And could the U.S. and Russia be on course towards a new Cold War?
Everyone in the audience stands and cheers.
Welcome to State of Affairs. I'm Mark Wiggins. 2015 is starting out amid big changes, from falling oil prices to rising tension in far-flung parts of the globe to a new legislative session and new leaders here in Texas. And that's where we start today. Governor Perry has been in office for a record 14 years. Politics aside, Governor Perry's unprecedented tenure has guaranteed him a spot in Texas history. We sat down with Perry this week for his final interview as sitting governor to talk about the decade past and what's ahead. What part of your legacy do you look back over the last 14 years and feel you're most proud of?
Well, economically, whether you are a governor or you're a mayor or whether you're a president of the United States, how you create an environment, how you engage with the legislative process to give incentives to entrepreneurs, job creators, and allow people to keep more of what they work for. Because if you don't get that right first, you're not going to have the resources that come into the state government to pay for the teachers or to pay for the police officers, to pay for the roads or pay for the health care. So it really all goes back to that. I mean, a lot of important things the government does, but I don't think there's anything more important than to create this environment where job creators know they can risk their capital.
Can you look back over that time period and identify a moment that maybe stood out more than any other for you personally?
The 5 o'clock phone call in the governor's mansion when that Category 5 storm was projected to come up the Houston Ship Channel. And I'd seen those models. The models that basically said without an immediate evacuation of Harris County and the city of Houston, that there would be over 1 million dead Texans. Not 1 million people displaced, 1 million people who lost their lives. That was a stunning moment for me of realizing the gravity of being the governor of the state of Texas. And fortunately, by the grace of God, that storm moved on to the east and did not come up the Houston Ship Channel, but did massive damage.
Any moments you felt you wish you had back?
Sometimes the process we got wrong. And I'll give you an example. Early part of my governorship, I came up with a concept to help get traffic moving, to make Texas infrastructure-wise stronger. It was called the Trans-Texas Corridor. Was not accepted by the public. They said loud and clear, we don't like your Trans-Texas Corridor idea, and a leader needs to listen to the people. We declared the Trans-Texas Corridor dead. Now, we continued to work and find ways to build transportation infrastructure in the state, and we have.
One of the burning issues during your term was your house. We're here 6 years later and we still haven't found the guy who threw the Molotov cocktail at the governor's mansion. Are you surprised by that?
You know, I am, particularly because we had video, although it was poor quality, but you know, I'll just leave that up to the good Lord to dispense that justice, because we'll probably never know who it was with great assurity.
Oil prices are falling right now, and it brings up the question, obviously, what this is going to mean for the Texas economy. And also how much of the Texas miracle, it's a really good run by the oil and gas industry. So with what we're seeing here with the falling oil prices, is the miracle in danger, you think?
Well, I think it's an error to call it a miracle. A miracle I can't explain. I think a better descriptive term is the Texas model. I can explain the Texas model. It's about tax policy that allows people to keep more of what they work for. It's about regulatory climate that's fair and predictable. Legal system that doesn't allow for oversuit. Texas of 2015 is not 1985. We are in a substantially more diversified economy. Now, is there going to be some shaking out in Midland, Odessa, and some areas of Houston and places where the oil and gas industry is more influential, if you will? There will be, but I suggest to you, because of this great diversification, when you look at Houston, you see the largest medical facility in the world. When you look at UT Southwestern, Scott and White, and all this big medical infrastructure that's been built in the state of Texas. And then you look at the other side of that sword, if you will. And that other side is that the cost of transportation goes down, consumer spending goes up. So yes, there'll be some shaking out in Texas, but I'll suggest to you we will weather this storm well.
As you leave office, there is the issue of this indictment, possible trial, possible jail time, the issue at hand, not the veto per se, but the idea of there being an ultimatum involved with that. But you maintain that this is all just politics.
Well, I maintain that I know what the Constitution allows for a governor to do, and a governor can veto any piece of legislation for any reason. And you know, when you got Alan Dershowitz and David Axelrod, who don't agree with me on a lot of things, saying that you know, this is way outside the realm of appropriate prosecutorial action, that absolutely they support the governor's right to veto this legislation. So with all of that said, I respect the rule of law, and I feel comfortable that I've got a great legal team and people who have laid out the appropriate legal arguments that do protect the rule of law in Texas, and that future governors, whoever they may be, will have the right to veto legislation and work with the legislature in those processes as well.
Will that affect the decision-making process for 2016?
Not that I'm aware of. We're going forward with our thought process and with our preparation, and May or June we'll make a decision on whether or not we're going to make that next step.
This is from August 2011. That was the AP wire that came in at the KVUE studios in North Austin. You were there at our studios. One of your advisors said you are going to run for president.
Yep.
Luckily, we had you on hand, and it was before the official announcement, but you did say, yeah.
I made some news.
So a soft opening.
You want me to make some news today?
If you'd like, a soft opening for 2016 on this program?
Good try.
I had to.
It's awesome.
What is your advice for your successor?
Listen, I don't think Greg needs any advice. This is a experienced, seasoned individual, and he went through a good campaign. He listens to the people of the state of Texas. He will listen to them as he goes forward. So he's got a great vision. I full well expect the legislature will work with him. Texans are going to see, philosophically, I think the same place they've seen for the last decade. A place where a family knows that their future is going to be bright. People are going to continue to move to the state of Texas because they know that tax and regulatory and legal policies and skilled workforce policies, i.e. Good accountable public schools, are going to be in place here, and that Texas will continue to be the best place to raise a family, to own a business, and to call home.
What is the legacy of Governor Rick Perry?
I think I just spoke it.